So here's the $64,000 question in most people's mind. When are lumber prices and materials prices going to come down? There's an article from the Idaho Statesman out of Boise talking about lumber prices delaying projects and also even lumber availability in some cases. Here's a nice picture of a truckload versus lumber that a lot of contractors would love to have. But it's a kind of pandemic joke about not just toilet paper and cleaning supplies. A number of shortages. Lumber is probably one of the ones that's still hard to find. The lumber shortage has driven prices sky high, complicating the housing market, meaning that if you're a builder or contractor looking to build a home and you priced it with a certain lumber package, you may not be able to build that. If you're a homeowner looking to do renovation, you may find that the materials cost is higher than you thought, not counting the labor cost is probably higher too. National Association of Home Builders says lumber prices increased more than 200%, right, since the same time last year. Price per 1,000 board feet went over 1,100, and it was 500 a year ago, so it's more than double. When could they come back down? That's the question. The analysts who track this for financial markets said the lumber demand is expected to hold up for some time, meaning that it could be a couple years. It could come down in 2022. There's also a school of thought that says it may not come down in 2022. Part of the reason is while the pipeline may open up a little bit more, there may be lumber yards that are able to produce more material over the next year, year and a half. The demand is not going to go down. We did a video a couple days ago where there's 4 million houses short of what the market needs, not counting renovations. In addition to that, once the lumber producers and the industry sees that the higher prices can be absorbed, the lumber market may not have to drop down that much because people are still buying the lumber at the high price. So even though there'll be more capacity, the margins may go back up. It says that domestic production is expected to soar, which is probably true. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the demand is going to be the same. There may be a higher demand once there's availability. One of the reasons now that availability or that production and construction of projects is lower is because there's sometimes not available lumber. Once lumber becomes more available, some of the projects may actually go back online that were put on hold for a while. Here is a director of Sherwood Lumber told Fortune magazine it's unlikely we ever go back to levels we had prior to the boom because demographically speaking, the country will need more lumber in the coming years. Certainly there'll be more production, but the demand is going to be just as high. And another lumber producer, Deacon Lumber, their CEO said he finds it hard to believe they'll go back to historical price ranges. I tend to agree. I don't think it's going to go back down to where it was. It may actually flatten out, may have a little bit of a dip, but I think that as a construction professional, whether you're a builder, a general contractor, a developer, or even a homeowner looking to do a project, you might as well plan for the prices that exist today. You don't necessarily have to build today, but plan for the cost that's going to be in place today. The real estate market is a big factor. Homes are selling for over asking price. There's multiple bidders. At some point, there will be a significant investment in building new single-family properties. Once everybody gets used to what the new economy is and employment is able to be stabilized and builders can hire subcontractors, the home building market will kick back into gear, and that'll just put even more of a pressure on the lumber industry. At one point, it was questionable whether or not the higher lumber prices could be absorbed in selling prices for homes. It's been proven now that these selling prices for homes, it's sticking. It's been months. It's not just a fluke. These higher prices for homes, it's built into the market. It's baked into the market. Now that you have homes that are sold, you have comparable sales that appraisers can use as comps, so the higher prices can be sustained. For that reason, home builders, developers, whether you're a large developer like GL Homes or any of the other big national home builders, you can start developing houses and build in these new higher prices into your cost structure. The effects of higher prices go beyond just the housing market. The new single-family home increased by 24,000, according to the National Home Builders. It also affects remodeling and home improvement projects. Even building a deck that might have cost $300 or $400 a year or two ago might cost close to $1,000 now because of the increase in lumber prices. So factoring this in to the value of homes and the cost of remodeling, it's just going to be part of our future. A good general contractor can make up some of the cost difference on efficiencies of building, maybe looking at different plans or different ways of construction that can offset some of it. But the construction cost that comes from the materials is probably here to stay, and any downturn or blip down can be used as an opportunity to maybe save a little bit of money but not go back to 2019 levels.